The hole is still not shut, unbelievably, because we cannot get the pieces of wood we need to shut our hole. What happened? We got pieces of wood that were the size we needed and the thickness we needed, but they were not faded. They were purple hard. So we don't want to have our hole in different colors, but we did get the wood. We're not going to use it for the hole, but we're going to use it for the housing area. So our house will be made of purple heart.
Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm MP. And we just bought a boat that needs a little bit of work done.
We are both rookies when it comes to boat ownership and carpentry, so this is going to be a steep learning curve.
Luckily, we found an amazing team of shipwrights who accepted the mission of bringing our boat back to life and are now rebuilding Yabá with hand tools, ancient knowledge, and a lot of passion.
Join us on this thrilling journey and wish us luck.
So here we have the purple wood, how it comes from the wood shop. You can see that it's very rough, very raw. And then the guys bring it here to the wood shop. They work on it over here. You can see all the purple sawdust, and then it becomes like this. Shiny, smooth, and the color becomes brighter. So nice, so beautiful. We are very happy about this. They're looking super smooth, the color is super bright, we're really happy about it. But what I really want to show you is the mountain we have after planing them. It's so much, so nice.
What are you thinking of the wood so far?
I'm really happy. The purple is super pretty. The problem is that even though it's fairy dust, when it's flying on your face, it's quite inconvenient.
Also, this purple heart had been sanded before and planed and cut, but as it's going to be some interior walls, we want it to be nice and smooth, so it's also being sanded to 120 grit and maybe even more if it needs be. There are many ways of treating this, and we're looking into all of them. Some of them is just like heating it up with a blowtorch. We've got some good advice from Thank You. We've received some other documents about how to treat it nicely and make it preserve its color. So we're still looking at what to do. For now it's being sanded. If it does lose its color before we put it in the boat, we might just give it another layer of soft sanding and then treat it. But for now there's loads and loads of planks to do, so we're just doing it bulk right now, and then later we can work on it a bit more specific.
Let's go inside.
And this is how we have to enter the boat now. It's a bit of a mess, as it always is.
this is super shocking. So we don't have now here the wall that divided the housing area with the engine room.
I think there's something else missing.
Open, but not just the bottom one, up here.
Yeah. Do you want to say your idea, which we might do?
Yeah. So here we used to have a roof that was not table from the top, but it was very humid because we had infiltration coming from the windows, so it was rotten. So we removed that and removed this, and now this area is all open, and I really like the idea of it open. So we might make here like a barricade with
the columns.
the columns, the pretty columns with a lathe, with a turner, and have this connected, you know, leave this without a ceiling, so it can be connected with people there.
So the galley will be here. So you're here, there's maybe a stove, but then looking up you will have still the windows from here, so we won't be putting a roof here anymore. So this will just be open and open with some columns here. So as you can see, the first part of our tabika is going to be put in place. All this is going to have to bend. That's not going to be easy, as it's going to have to come and these lines over here. But this is, for me, the first sign of us starting to build again. Now the wood has arrived and everything's been cut, instead of just waiting and hanging around, but this is going to be good. So this is almost in place, but let me show you something crazy. So this is 8 centimeter thick wood, and look at how much this is bending. And we still have to make it another 3 centimeters. So this is in the place where it has to be. It didn't break. Now it's got the time to kind of mold into this curve. Quite a big curve. This is actually the biggest, hardest plank we've done. All the rest is just square, well, rectangular, right angles that just get piled up on top of this until it reaches the top. I feel like home already. And at the same time, this second watertight bulkhead is actually being made just forwards of the engine room. So these columns have been put in for now. We're still going to put one column there and probably one column here, and that's going to be a double 4 centimeters on each side bulkhead. So right now these are being nailed onto the beams temporarily, so we can put a clamp on just like this, so that we can pull this plank, this timber, all the way with any means possible until it's actually against here. So even though both of these timbers are in place right now, they have decided to make the joint longer, which means the joint can actually make a bit of the curve, and we'll put 2 threaded bars through it instead of 1, with a shorter one, which I think was about this wide, 15 centimeters. The joint made a very sharp turn, as opposed to having a longer joint, which kind of makes the curve with the wood.
Hello everyone, another day in paradise. I don't know if you can see behind me, but the first plank of our house is being installed. We have the first plank going along the beams, and yeah, our house is starting to get in shape, and that's very exciting. And also we have another team working on the bulkhead that will have dividing the house and the engine room. And today the air is cold, it's super sunny, and so it's warm in the sun but cold in the shade, and that's my favorite type of day, so I'm in a super good mood.
So I'm over here, and as you can see, this bulkhead is quite old and rotten, and these fasteners are way too big. They're good, but we don't need them. This is going to be replaced, but that joint is going to have to be made with the lateral bulkheads. So over here, he's busy making the... Is it still a rabbit? I guess a rabbit. For the upper bulkhead to insert into the lateral bulkhead. So this is the aft bulkhead, actually, inserting into the lateral bulkhead. So the first holes have been drilled into this brassola. We've also made some, we've made the holes so we can embed the screws as well, or the nuts. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut a 3 centimeter groove that goes halfway from the top to like halfway there to 3 centimeters down, so the planks on top of it are actually sitting in that groove, so the rain also runs out and doesn't go in. So this is nearly done. However, as I said, we are going to make a cut on this line and this line to make a little rabbit where the next plank upwards will go, as it's going to be a lot smaller than this one. But what they're going to do, the other ones that aren't on the boat yet, sorry for the sun, is they're going to do it down there. So I'm going to pass the camera to MP, who's going to show you how that's done. Catch!
Hey guys, that was with adrenaline. So I'm here a little bit far away, but the guys are there, and they're going to start making the little cut where the other planks will fit on this brassola piece, and I'm gonna show you how it goes.
So we fastened the last, well, we're actually fastening the last short beams onto this brassola. Still don't know the name, I am very sorry, but brassola is what it is here. But anyway, we're not doing this one yet because this is going to be cut and a joint is going to be made with the one going across on this long beam. So when that joint is made, we're going to put a screw threaded bar through both of them, so it will be held together. So there's no point doing this now until the other one's on it, because we're still going to have to make some cuts. But have a look at this. How much did we manage to bend? 8 centimeters. I think about 35 degrees to bend it.
It's like, wow, what? Look where he went. How did he go there?
Yeah.
You're such a clever boy. I want to take a moment to talk about this guy, also known as Ben, because he's been making me so proud lately. He's learning so much, he works really hard, he always comes home full of bruises and dirty. He also learned Portuguese so he could communicate with the carpenters without depending on me, and he just makes me so proud for all the effort and heart he puts in this project. And I just wanted to take this moment to show my appreciation for everything he does. I love you, babe. So our neighbor is almost ready to go back to water, but look what they did here. They painted their anchor, and I really like it. The guys think that's a yay or a nay.
So this side is finished. Every single beam has been fastened onto this brassola, this wall, the lower wall piece. Now everyone's migrated over to the other side to start working on the other side. So right now all the beams are at the right level because they've been placed in that position for a reason, because that's where the beams have to go. So now we're laying this brassola on top, and the goal is to get the beams all attached to this brassola. But the problem is this brassola on top is a lot stronger than the joint of the beams itself. So if you just fasten or tighten the beams onto it, the beams are just going to lift. So our purpose is to bring it down onto the beams. So what happens is we're having to fasten the beams onto the frames so they don't lift, and then we fasten them down.
Cala nele.
Mike. Mais uma. Aí.
The way it's going now is this is being, well, now it's being loosened, but this gets tightened, which brings the most forward part of the plank inwards. When this comes in and it reaches the part on the beam where it has to be fastened, they clamp it shut there, fasten it, and tighten it again here, and so on. So one by one, the beams are being fastened as this is being tightened until we reach all the way here. So in some places we will be embedding the nut, in some places we won't. So we will not here, and anywhere inside the double bulkhead, as there's no need. You won't be seeing it anyway. However, more to that side over there, we are, because we like to put like a putty or a paste on top so it looks nice and smooth. So over here we have embedded, we will embed the nut, and over here as well, because we are not sure if these are going to be hidden yet or not. The ones underneath are not, because the second part of the bulkhead is going to come in front and hide it. What you might also notice is there's a bit of saw that is now going all the way around, so we can start building the walls up to the top. However, to do that properly, we do need an extra beam up over here where the end of the roof is. So that's being measured right now, and there is that beam, and that will go so we can hold up the rest of the planks.
Linus.
So you might be wondering, why are we keeping all these chipped end bits? As we were removing the wall, a lot was glued on or just made so that we couldn't remove the beam or this forward wall without actually damaging the roof. So we're actually moving this wall slightly further back on the roof itself. Over here on the beam, it's going to be in the same place, which means it's going to be at a slightly bigger angle, sloping backwards. Now what's going to happen, this is all going to be put in place, and when that's done, these end bits are just going to be cut off, so we're not worried about that. All we need to do now is nail it on from top to bottom. I don't know if you've noticed, there is a little rabbit in here as well, as so that the wall can be put in here. What happens if it rains, it will prevent any water from coming in, as it will be here. So over here, some more wood arrived. So 2 10 centimeter thick timbers, some 5 centimeter thick boards. Now these are not just any boards, because we've been waiting for some 5 centimeter thick boards that were long enough for a very long time. These are both 7.5 meters, and I think it's been 3 months that our hull wasn't looking any better or any more shut than it is now. My gosh, look at this guy. So over here we are missing 3 planks on this side and 1 on the other. However, the one that will go here and the one that will go here to the stern, to the transom, are 5 centimeter thick, and the ones that I just showed you are going to come right here. As you can see, just try not to fall. The one on top, which is missing over there, is slightly thicker, 6 centimeters. So unfortunately, we are still going to have to wait to completely close the hull, but I cannot tell you how excited I am to at least have 2 more planks shut. Have 2 more planks to close the hull. So when those 2 5 centimeter thick planks are on the starboard side, it will look something like this, which is a lot more acceptable. And I wouldn't call it a completely open hull anymore. This is just waiting for 1 more plank to be inserted, and so will be the other side. So the other, and it will be the same on the other side.
Before we say bye and say see you next week, we would like to invite you to subscribe to our channel. If you like our episodes, if you like our content, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of it. Just do it down here, right now. And also, before saying bye, we would like to thank and welcome the people who joined us on Patron and also for the PayPal donation. So let's go to it. Thank you so much. Tracy, Brian, Ulrich, Nick, Larry, Ken, Harvey, Antonio, and Stanley.